The late 90s were a weird time for LEGO. With sales down and more kids interested in video games rather than LEGO, they tried to branch out into things like Mindstorms and LEGO Island to try and get into that new market. In their regular themes like space, pirates, and town, they started to have really weird ideas, and this was before the craziness of the early 2000s. After some great themes like Spyrius, Blacktron 2, and Space Police, LEGO made Exploriens in 1996. And the biggest set from their one-year release was the Explorien Starship, with over 600 pieces. This set is one of the most striking from the time just by shape alone. It has a very unique shape that twists and turns in many ways, and it makes the build experience really fun. There are so many different gadgets and doors and things that you can adjust and open in this set. There are so many different things packed into a tight area in this model that gives it a massive shape at the end. You'll notice that in general, the ship tends to prioritize action features over looks, even having things like a detachable pod at the back, different sections that can come apart. The inclusion of magnets from the recent Mtron sets is actually strong enough to hold the small module provided at the magnet itself. Even just builds like this random canister that you can open up, it has so much imaginative play in that way. It represents the theme well in a lot of ways, including a lot of the same accessories as well as the printed parts that made Explorien famous. These pieces can be used to sort of decode secret images on these two secret elements. This is a very common trick now used in a lot of kids' toys, but this was pretty new at the time. I always thought this play feature would be better suited to Spyrius, which came out just a few years before. And now for one of my favorite action features, which not many people talk about. If you open up all of the flaps and different parts around the set, you'll actually notice that when you pick it up, it folds into an attack formation, with an angled back and front. This configuration reminds me more of modern LEGO sets, like the Mars Mission, ETX Alien Mothership, among others, which have this very dynamic, sort of sloped down look to it. And this is more possible nowadays thanks to the advances in the different parts available to make these kind of angles and technique hold up. This set has so many small things that you can move around and so many details to see. Even just the cockpit area for the main commander is really detailed. I've always thought Exploriens had weaker minifigs compared to other space themes, but you get a good selection here. Even these side thrusters are Technic pin modular components similar to Blacktron 2. Unfortunately, the main body of the ship isn't very easy to take apart. The entire middle section is built really strong so that you can pick up the set very easily from the middle section, which is great for making it a very swooshable spaceship, but it means this is incredibly hard to store and break down without having to take apart almost the entire set. Modern LEGO sets have made sure that they use techniques to keep it easier to take apart. There are so many printed details all along the set. The Exploriens logo, again, is weaker compared to some of the other space themes, but it's great to see that they stuck with a sort of color scheme for it. Transdark blue is a staple of Exploriens, but it's actually only got a few pieces in this set. However, the ship looks very incomplete without it. It really goes to show that Exploriens' color scheme with their transparent and white parts is so strong. The box art on Exploriens is really striking. This Jack Kirby-esque art really breaks up against the white ship, and you can see in the instructions that it keeps that aesthetic all the way through. There's also a lot of nice pictures to break up the instructions, which modern sets tends to lack. I don't have the box of this set, but it has the same type of plastic inserts, which are so great from the 90s. However, this set is great with or without the box, and I've got to say, it is a really strong LEGO set, with some great alternate builds and just a great selection of parts to use for mocks generally. Compared to other sets of the time, the Explorien Starship holds up really well. The giant UFO Starship set has a micromotor that no longer works, a lot of the fiber optic sets are very buggy, and the Mindstorms, that technology is very outdated. Explorien sticks fairly true to what LEGO's about, and because of that, its set holds up really well. If you can get a good copy of the set, I definitely recommend it. It's actually not worth much. As you might have seen, there are some exciting things planned for the channel soon, so be sure to subscribe for updates. Thanks!